We're talking today with Leon Fresco, who is a partner in immigration law at Holland Knight, and he's a veteran of the Obama Justice Department and the Senate Immigration Committee. Leon, regarding the Trump administration's ban, why do you think it's dangerous to take the issue to the Supreme Court?
Well, I think this is going to be a threshold issue of presidential power that hasn't been addressed in the courts. And I think to set a precedent based on a policy that is only going to be in existence for 70 more days, I think is not an advantageous way to bring this issue to the court, given the stakes that may happen in the future with different kinds of populations, either in times of communicable disease or in times of national crisis, that you might want to actually restrict, where this decision, which is based on this set of facts, might have an impact later, and you wouldn't want to set a precedent that would be negative in that situation.
And beyond the ban, what are the five main issues in immigration right now?
Well, I think you have issues of what we're going to do with the folks on the southern border right now, the surge that we've seen since 2014. Second, what we're going to do about the difficulties in removing immigrants who commit crimes and the laws that are restricting that ability. Third is what we're going to do with the plight of the undocumented. What is going to be the resolution there? Are we going to legalize all of the undocumented, dreamers, agriculture, some segment? Fourth is what will be the composition of the immigrant quilt of the future? Will it be more workers? Will it be more family? Will it be people who have certain skills? And I think that is a critical one. And fifth is what is going to be the desire for foreign labor in the United States? Is it going to be robust, or is it going to be restricted on the basis that we're harming U.S. workers?
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about that last issue in a little bit more in depth. How do we reach that balance between necessary skills like tech workers and farm workers versus harm to the U.S. workplace?
Well, there are robust protections that can be done in terms of the wage that you pay to the foreign worker, and that if you mandate a certain wage that is considered to be one that you would pay an American normally to work for that job, if you're paying the foreign national for that job, then the idea is you're hiring that foreign national not to undercut an American's wage, but instead because that is the best person for the job, or because there's not an American available. And so people are going to have to be more willing to use the wage as the proxy, rather than a lot of sort of other restrictions in terms of you have to put ads in the newspaper, or you have to keep a job open for so many days, because those can be manipulated and they're hard to determine. But the wage is actually the proxy for whether someone's actually trying to get a cheaper worker, or whether someone is actually trying to get a worker at a wage that an American would take.
Mm-hmm. The wall along the border that Trump has been espousing, there are already 670 miles of fences or barriers. How effective are those barriers?
Well, the purpose of the barrier is not to actually prevent a person from entering the United States. It's actually to slow the person down so that they can be apprehended by the Border Patrol. And to the extent that some of them are more robust than others, some of them are having a better and more effective rate of slowing people down. They're also used to channel the stream of flows from the southern border into certain locations where the fencing isn't, but then where the Border Patrol is. And in that sense, it is effective, but it is not a solution to the demand. It's sort of a solution on the enforcement end. But really, what also needs to happen is there need to be legal programs so that people don't need to come illegally, and also investments made so that people don't have a reason to come at all if what they're coming for are economic reasons.
Mm-hmm. And finally, how many green cards are issued each year, and to whom?
So there are categories, and it turns out that regardless of the categories, it usually ends up being about 1 million a year. Mm-hmm. But some are capped and some are uncapped. But in general, regardless of whether the categories are capped or uncapped, we see about 600,000 family-based immigration green cards issued a year. And those are to spouses of U.S. citizens, parents of U.S. citizens, children of U.S. citizens, and siblings of U.S. citizens. There's about another 140,000 green cards that are issued to work-based green cards that an employer is petitioning for a worker. And then the remainder are asylees and refugees who come to the United States, and if they've made successful claims for protection, can earn green cards in that way.